Greetings all, Jasmine Gittens here. I am back for day 5 of our 30-day wholesaling challenge. I'm super excited to be here today. So I'm gonna let you guys roll on in per usual, and I am going to go ahead and share this on our Facebook pages. Greetings all. Greetings all. So excited to be here today. So excited to be here. So excited to be here though, for real. Let me just share it one more page. And we are gonna get started. Day 5 of the 30-day wholesaling challenge, guys. This is amazing. 30-day. All right. Moving, so we're good to go. Hi, Zania. Day 5. Yes, girl. Yes, girl. Hi, Will. Greetings, all greetings. So I want to hear from you guys. How many calls have you done today? I want to know. Let's do a check-in. Let's do an accountability roll call. So post in the comments how many calls you guys made today. I already know one. Who made? Let me see who killed it earlier today. Let's see who it was that killed it. Hey, say hello, everyone. Let me know how many calls you guys made today. So in our 30-day challenge, right? For those that are just coming in, I want to welcome you to our 30-day wholesaling challenge. This challenge is meant and designed for people that are they've done enough research, right? They've analyzed enough, they've thought about it enough, and now you're ready to take action, right? So that is what this challenge is designed for. It's designed to actually, let's just go ahead and take action. No more talking about it, thinking about it, and researching about it. Is to say, all right, it's time to go. So I put this together to challenge you guys, really push you and create a community where we were all doing this together, okay? So everybody in here in this challenge is challenged to do 100 calls per day. Yes, 100 calls a day, and that's not a lot, right? Especially because I told you guys that we will be using dialers. So if you're using a dialer, you should be able to get through 100 calls in about an hour, all right? So you make those calls per day, an hour of your time during this 30 days, and this will put you in a position to be able to get a deal, okay, guys? And on average, we're looking at $10,000 per transaction on average. So, I mean, really, it's about taking action. It's time to take action, all right? It's 2021, right? We look, now is the time. If there's never been a time, it's now, okay? So let me know. Hey, Solomon, I got your emails too, so I'm gonna be sending you those documents. So, all right. So Zania said not enough. LOL. No more stopping to do comps. Yep, we talked about that yesterday, right? So, I think it was Will or somebody had asked, right? Like when you're making your calls, should you stop? Like, let's say you get somebody that wants an offer, and should you stop and run the comps on that property first, or should you continue to finish your calls, right? Finish your 100 calls, finish your calling session, and then run the comps. And I gave the answer of it depends. I know that's not the best answer, but it's the truth. So it really depends on your personality, right? If you know that if you stop making those calls to run those comps and you will jump back in to finish those calls up, then go for it. But myself, right, in the beginning, my own personal self, I knew if I stopped, likely I was going to get distracted by making comps. I was going to spend an hour making comps, trying to figure this out, trying to figure that out. By the next thing you know, I'm getting up to get a drink of water. Then I got to go to the bathroom. You know what? Now my son wants me, right? And before you know it, it's over. I'm never going back to finish making those calls. So for me, I personally like to set a time that's my call time, focus on my calls, and then I would make the make the offers after. I will spend the time after my call session has been completed to then run the comps and call those people back to make offers. Okay, so eventually, as soon as possible, we want to practice this as much as possible during this 30 days, because eventually you want to get to the point where you're just making those offers right on the spot. You know what I mean? You don't even have to hang up with them. You're running through your script. You're making the offers right then and there, and you are going to get there. You're on your way. So guys, let me know how many calls you made. How many calls did we make today? I only saw one person. One person. So come on, there's a whole bunch of us in this 30-day challenge. So I'm surely want to hear that more than one person made calls today. All right. How many calls? I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and answer. How many calls did you make today? Who was it that let me look in our group chat here to see who was it that said they made 106 calls today. 106. It was Keon. Keon, where are you at? Keon made 104. He made 104 calls today, guys. So he said he split that up. He did some during his lunch break, work, and then a little bit after. So look, we're getting it done. We're getting it done. All right. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Great job. Great job. Yeah, you only run comps. Just somebody asked, I'm only running comps on properties that I get it. Yes, I want to sell. Absolutely. You should only be running comps on properties where people say that they're interested in selling. You're not running comps on every single property by any means, or you would never get through anything. So you're making your calls. Don't even look at the property. Don't Google the property. Don't do anything with the property. Just make your calls, right? And once the seller or the homeowner expresses that they want to, that they're interested in an offer and that they're interested in selling, then you go ahead and you run your comps. You never do that beforehand, okay? All right, so tonight I wanted to go over the contract. All right, so I told you that this challenge is I'm going to prepare you and give you everything that you need to be able to get the deal done. All right, so that is what I'm going to do. So we already, again, on day one, we went over establishing your goals, setting your targets, determining your market, and getting your list, right? Then we got our list skip trace. We uploaded them into our dialer so that we can start making those calls, right? Then we practice our script. We know what to say. What were the rebuttals? How are we going to handle those rebuttals when talking to the potential seller, right? Talking to our leads. And then yesterday we went over, what did we go over yesterday, y'all? We went over running the comps. So you're running the comps, okay? So now you got somebody that said they're interested. We ran the comps so that we can make the accurate offer to the homeowner. And now we're going to go over the contract. So they say, yes, I want to accept this offer. What are you going to do? Okay, so I'm going to go over the contract with you guys. And then we are going to continue our 30-day challenge, okay? So, yes, Keon made his calls. Made the calls today. Looking forward to tomorrow. That's what I'm talking about, man. I am so excited. You looking like, because remember, guys, this challenge, you're going to win. You have an opportunity to win the virtual wholesaling course, as well as an 8-week one-on-one mentorship with me, okay? I'm talking about, I'm creating a 90-day customized plan for you. I'm giving you weekly action items. You know, I'm helping to hold you accountable. I mean, I'm really, really gonna be helping you take this thing to the next level. So the challenge is not just, about making the calls. You have an opportunity to get a deal. You have the opportunity to start, your business. You have an opportunity for growth. You have an opportunity for coaching, one-on-one mentorship. So I mean, definitely don't let this opportunity slip by. So in order to win the challenge, you do have to submit your call sheets weekly to show me that you have completed your challenge, the expectation of making 100 calls a day for at least 6 days a week. And once you did that and you can show that, then you are entered into the draft to win that prize. Alrighty, so gotcha. I love it. Now you guys answer, and I love it. I love it. Shout out. Shout out. I ended up making a few calls today. That's good. That's good. Now let's push it. Let's push it. With this is the challenge, right? So figure out what it was that, hindered you from completing your entire call session. And avoid that, right? Or overcome that in the next session, all right? If you find you got distracted by something, whatever that was, try to remove it, right? Go into a new location, close a door, do whatever you need to do to stay laser focused. I mean, we're only talking about an hour worth of your time, okay? An hour worth of your time. I mean, come on, okay? So let's do it. I'm sure that we do a lot of other things for an hour. We spend more than an hour, I'm sure, on your social media, right? So I love you. I love you. I want you to win. So let's be dedicated to this challenge. Let's get it done. All right. Let's see. I only got 50 in today, but I've got a lead who's interested in selling. I'm following up with tomorrow. Love it. Love it. I love that you got 50. Let's double it up. You could have potentially had 2 leads. All right. So I love that you are getting it done. Shout out to you. Let's hit the goal. Let's hit the goal. So the call reports are submitted on Mondays. Yes. Call reports you can submit on Monday for the previous week. Okay, and you can just email that to me. You can just send it to, jasmine@jasminegittens.com. Alrighty, so let's get into this contract. Unless you guys had any questions, you can go ahead and post them. I will see them as we continue this live today. Today might not be as long as the other lives. We're going to just the other sessions. We're going to go over this contract. If you have any questions, we'll review those, go over those, get them answered, and then I'm going to get you guys, headed out, enjoying the rest of your evening. And super pumped and ready for tomorrow to wake up and make those calls again. Okay. So let's look at this, the contract. Share my screen with you people. All right, there we go. So very, very simple. Let me make this a little bit bigger, just so you can see it well. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So this contract is between between you and the seller. Okay. So it says that this agreement is made on this day. So today's the 5th of February, 2021. We need to update that. By and between. So that will be the sellers. Now, keep in mind, if there's multiple sellers, right? If there's a husband and wife or whatever the situation is, everybody's name needs to be on this contract. So, you can't just get the husband to sign and the wife not. If they're both, if they're both on the title, okay? And that will be where your name or your company goes in, and or assign. So that assigns portion is very, very important because it allows you to assign this contract, which you're going to be doing, okay? So it's very, very important that whatever contract you're using, that especially like this, right? The one you have, it has that line in there or those verbiage. Okay, hereafter called buyer. Buyer and seller shall hereafter jointly be referred to as parties. All right, so description of the premises. Sellers agreed to sell to buyer the property located at. So right underneath that you know, that kind of blank area, because you're going to upload this on DocuSign, right? So right there is where you're going to bring in a little clear box where you can type in the address to the property, okay? Property is being sold in as-is condition. Description is including any fixtures, windows, floor coverings, built-in appliances, draperies, hardware, blinds, windows, so on and so forth. So anything that's attached to this property, permanently attached, is considered part of the property. Okay, so you know, they can't sell you the property and then take all the doors with them. Okay, so anything that's permanently attached to the property, as it stands, will be there once you purchase this property. Okay, so you're gonna have two lines here. Now this is where I know you guys were asking tons of questions throughout the week about the EMD to the seller, right? So this is where this first line is where you are going to include your EMD to the seller. So we usually do between a $10 and $100 earnest money deposit to the seller. Now remember, again, you know, we are working with motivated sellers. We're closing on these properties very quickly, 30 days or less, right? So we, you know, we put that in there. Most times we don't have any issues, but we do run into sometimes where people will say like, why are you only putting $10? We want you to put more to so we feel comfortable and know that you're actually going to close on this property, right? So we let them know, hey, you know, we are investors. We're constantly, you know, purchasing properties and stuff, so we can't have our money held up too long anywhere. But what I can do for you to make, you know, I want to make this work for both of us, right? As soon as the inspection period is over, we will add more to this earnest money deposit. Okay, we will put a substantial amount for the earnest money deposit. Okay, but initially we would just do this, right? So then they're like, okay, perfect, right? So people are very, very comfortable with that, because the truth is, I mean, anything prior to the inspection period anyway, you have the ability to just, you know, pull out of the contract. So even if you put $1 million in there, right? If you know, if we're still in the inspection period and you pull out of this deal prior to that, you're still gonna get that back, right? They're still not gonna get that. But after the inspection period, that's when they will actually end up getting the earnest money deposit if you don't follow through on the contract, right? So we'll just tell them again, what we'll do, we will have this here for now. Once the inspection period is over, we will add additional, you know, an additional deposit. Okay. And just side note, that deposit is going to come from the buyer. Okay. So yeah, I mean, in this business, we don't want to go around putting, you know, $5,000. Like, the whole idea of wholesaling is that, you know, you don't need a whole lot of money down, right? So we want to make sure that we are doing the best to make make that real, and not have to put down, you know, $5,000, $10,000 deposits, right? We are, you know, just getting this contract and assigning it. So we don't want to over leverage ourselves in any way. Okay. So you put that, and then on the second line, you will put what price you are paying for the property. So let's just say you get the property under contract for $90,000. You're going to put a $10 earnest money deposit and then a $90,000 here. Okay, so the earnest money is included in the total purchase price. All right, so let's go over the terms of this contract, just so if anybody ever asks you, you can actually you know, share with them. You can actually provide an answer. You can, you know, you can explain it. Okay. So term one, closing costs, title fees, and other title costs are to be paid in the following fashion: paid in full by the buyer. All right. So all the closing costs and title fees will be paid by the buyer. Okay. Now term two, any taxes, not including transfer taxes. So any liens, any encumbrances, attorney fees, or mortgages owed will be paid in full by the seller. Okay, so Dana, I think you had asked a question earlier this week in the Facebook group, right? And this relates just to that, right? So if the homeowner has any mortgage left, if they have any liens or anything like that, all of that has to be satisfied. It has to be paid off in order for them to even sell the property. So they couldn't sell the property to you and still have a remaining balance left with, Wells Fargo, right? They would have to pay that off in addition to any other liens. So if they have any, tax liens, if they have any type of liens, water liens, construction, like any type of liens that are left on that property must be paid in full prior to them being able to sell the property. Okay. And the title company, this is why we're closing with the title company, right? The title company is going to run title, run a search on the title, make sure that there are no liens or encumbrances on this title. And then if there is anything, then we can adjust it then. Okay. But that would have to be paid in full. So let's just take a second to dive deeper into this. So let's just say you're paying the seller, you decided on 90,000, right? And they have a $70,000 mortgage left and a $5,000 lien. Okay. So when the money is sent to the title company, right? When the buyer, wires in their funds, the title company is going to distribute the money accordingly, right? So whoever the primary lien holder is, they're going to get paid. Then the next lien holder is going to get paid, right? And after all the liens have been satisfied, if there's remaining money, then that will go to the seller. So in this instance, if you paid 90, they have a $70,000 loan and a $5,000 they have a $70,000 mortgage left, right? Now they have 20,000, and then they have a $5,000, tax lien or water lien, right? So then the seller will be walking away with $15,000, of course, also just considering the transfer taxes and the such, okay? So term number 3, the seller and the buyer will be set closing, will set closing to be as soon as possible for all parties, but no later than 30 days after the date of ratification without written addendum to this agreement. So the seller and the buyer agree to close within 30 days. Ratification is the day that the contract was executed. So the day that it was signed, all parties signed. Okay. 4, the title report and survey, if required, will be ordered promptly. If the title not available on the settlement date, or if issues with the title that do not allow it to be insurable or clear, such as a probate, tax liens, payoff statements, or any other clear title delays, then settlement may be delayed for up to 30 days to obtain clear title report and a survey. During this time, this contract may be terminated by the option of the buyer, whereas all earnest monies must be refunded to buyer. Okay, so this is just saying that you're going to order if necessary, you're going to order a survey, and you're going to order title search as soon as possible. Okay. And if anything comes back, right, so the purpose of the title search is to see if there's anything, see what type of liens or who owns the property, right? We want to make sure that everything is legit. We're not missing anything. So if there comes back anything that affects the sale of the property, right? So again, let's go back to the example where, you offered, the offer to the seller was 90,000, right? The seller told you, oh, I only have, $80,000 mortgage, and that's it. I don't have anything else. So I'm good to go. I can sell this property, right? And then we run a title, we find that they actually owe $110,000 on their mortgage, that they forgot about a second mortgage that they might have gotten, or they, there's a loan or a lien on there that they, just forgot about. This will impact the sale of the property, because now, they own 90. They owe 90. Excuse me, you offered them 90, but they owe more than you offered them, right? So now the property can't be sold, right? For $90,000 at least, it can't be sold unless, right, the seller's saying, well, I'll pay the remaining balance, right? Unless the seller's coming to the table with that other $20,000, something has to happen. So you have a couple options here, right? So the buyer, has the option of canceling his contract and getting the earnest money deposit back. Okay. It can also extend the 30 days to the seller to either, clear the title. Could have been a mistake and they need to go, get this removed from their title, or to come up with the funds that actually, for them to pay off these liens. Okay. So that is, those are your options, right? So the buyer can either pull out completely, they can give the seller time to remediate the issue or come up with the funds to pay it off. And thirdly, this, which is an option, depending on how much it is, the buyer could decide that they'll still take the property and they'll pay, like, let's just say, it ended up being, you were paying $90,000, right, to the seller. The buyer was paying you $100,000. And it came back that there was $105,000, right? So let's just say the buyer was like, you know what, the numbers still work for me. I really, really want this deal. I don't want to delay it. So I'll go ahead and put the extra $5,000. That doesn't happen a whole lot, right? But that does happen sometimes. So the three options, again, the buyer can pull out. They can give the seller time to remediate the issue or get the funds, or the buyer could decide that they still want to move forward with the transaction and they're going to pay the extra funds. Okay. Yes. So, before I move on, I do need to make sure that I make a disclaimer that this is not legal advice by any means. You need to, must to, should, I recommend, I advise that you talk to your local attorney, that you share this agreement or any agreement that you're intending to get into with a local attorney, so that they can give you the proper verbiage and the proper contracts for you to get into, to both protect yourself and make sure that it is a legally binding contract for your specific state and market. Okay. But I'm just sharing with you simply the agreement that one of the agreements that I have used, as a potential template for you to utilize in your own business. Okay. You got to make sure we make those disclaimers. So let's get back to it. Okay. So seller understands that the buyer is a private company that is buying real estate to make a profit and may be purchasing the property for immediate resale and profit even as soon as the day of closing. Both parties agree that the subject property is being bought and sold in its current as is condition. All right. So this is letting them know that you might make money off this, although they know that, but you want them to know, like, I can make money off this. There's a potential for me to make money off this property same day, right? Same day. And without me even fixing it, right? Because some people might have the perception of, like, I'm going to fix this property, fix it up, and then I'm going to resell it. Like, no, I can make money off this just as in the condition that it's currently in. Okay, number 6, the property is being sold as is, where is, with all defects in condition being at the sole risk of the buyer. Seller shall not be responsible for any repairs of any kind whatsoever, including repair of damage caused by the resolution of wood destroying organisms, aka termites. Okay. Further, seller does not warrant that any work done on the property by seller or anyone previously owning the property was done to code or with permits. Okay, so this is just protecting the seller and saying, hey, this property, you know, it needs a lot of work. A lot of the properties, right? I don't know if the property was done to code. If you know, if there are termites that are destroying the property from the time that we got it in, you know, under contract to the time we close, like I'm not responsible for that, right? So this is more so protecting the seller. Okay. Number 7, at settlement, the buyer and the seller shall pay their respective transfer taxes. All right. So they are still responsible for transfer taxes. So it is important to make, you know, that this is its own separate line versus it being put in with the other terms, so that they know that yes, buyer pays all closing costs. That's we're referring to title costs, right? Things like that, but not the transfer taxes are usually paid, you know, by the respective buyer and seller. Okay. Earnest money deposit to be held in escrow by the buyer's closing attorney. So this line is where you want to put either your attorney or your title company. Okay, so this is where you're going to be sending your earnest money deposits. And as a note, earnest money deposits never go to the seller. Okay, everything is run through title company. Even with your buyer, like I don't have usually I always now I don't have my buyers give me the money, right? Some of my buyers want to just like send us a check, or you know, whoever I have showing the properties, the realtors or my team, they'll be trying to push a check onto them, but I don't want anybody handling that money. I want to make sure that everything is run through the title company. Okay. Make sure you're posting whatever questions. I'm going to run through this contract. We're almost done. We're right at the end. So post any questions as I'm going along, and I'll make sure to address them all. Okay. Earnest money deposit is non-refundable to the buyer unless the title is non-conveyable. So we talked about that earlier, right? If the title comes back and there's something on it that clouds it and makes it either, you know, uninsurable or, you know, not clear, right? Or the seller is not available to close within the time period of this contract for whatever reason, or if the buyer is not satisfied with the results of the inspections. That is key. We're going to go into that more on term 10. If inspection does not pass buyer standards, buyer may terminate this agreement by written notice to the seller within 14 business days of ratification of this agreement, in which event the earnest money deposit shall be refunded. Okay, so this 14 days, this is the time period where you are looking for your buyer. You are looking for your buyer. Okay, you're marketing it, you're doing your thing. And yeah, during that time, that's your inspection period. And when you reach back out to the seller to say, you know, it didn't meet my inspection, right? You don't have to give them a specific, you know, as to what didn't meet your standards, your inspection standards, right? You just let them know, hey, this didn't meet my inspection standards. So you want to make sure that you submit that in writing. So a lot of times we'll send that via email and then just confirm with them, have them confirm it so that we can have a timestamp. Okay. Seller to provide buyer with permission to access property for the purpose of conducting buyer's inspection, collect bids from the contractors, designers, other potential buyers, and buyer's realtors prior to closing with a reasonable notice from the buyer to seller. Seller provides permission for a buyer to market the property online, advertise on the MLS, and install a lockbox. If the property is vacant, seller shall provide buyer with a key to access property specifically for the reasons above. Key shall be provided on the date of ratification. Okay, so this says a lot, but it's saying that you can show the property, you can market the property, you can get access to the property, and that they're going to give you the key on the day that you guys close. So if you are doing this virtually, that's where our realtors, another reason, right? Our realtors come in play. They can go get the key and put it on a lockbox for you. Okay, that's one of the ways that you can get the key. And then lastly, any furniture, fixtures, attachments, or debris located in and around the property, not removed within a day of closing before it becomes the ownership of the buyer. So if you leave something, it's ours now, okay? And the buyers, we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that the sellers take everything, but that's just to protect the buyers in case something is left behind, because, you know, a lot of times the buyers will come in, they'll bring their dumpsters and, you know, make sure everything's out of the property if anything was left. All right, so everybody signs and you're good to go. So again, as a disclaimer, this contract, this is just a template of something that I have used in the past. You must get you know, this reviewed by your attorney to make sure that this is legitimate, usable, and protects you in your specific state. Okay, but that's it. That's the contract, y'all. Let me stop sharing. Okay. Yes. So that is that's the contract. So you guys let me know if you have any questions. Let me just hop over here real quick to see if we have any questions that I may have not seen yet. I wish I could take this little banner thing off. But I don't know how. Oh, wait. I don't know how to do it. Anyways. So let's answer some questions. Thank you for the information on the liens. You are welcome, love. You are so welcome. How much do title reports usually cost? So it depends on your market, but they could range from like $500, you know, around $500 upwards of like $1,500. Just depends on if you're using a title company, if you're using an attorney. It can range, but that cost is to be paid by the buyer. The buyer is the one that's ending up to paying that. Okay. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. In North Carolina, I was told we don't use title, that you need an attorney. Will an attorney look into all of this? Yes. So you have some states are an attorney title, a title attorney state, and some are a title company, right? So it just depends. You have to figure out what that is in your specific market, but they're going to be doing this, you know, similar thing. So both of them are going to be running the title, looking to see, you know, making sure that the title is clear, making sure that, you know, it's the correct owners, and everything like that. So, yeah. So how are you handling inspections by potential buyers? Does the seller meet the end buyer at the house? So that goes into marketing the deal, right? So that's a whole nother like ball game in regards to how you, okay, now you got the property under contract. How do you market the property? How do you find the buyers? How do you show the property? How do you get the property closed and qualify the buyer and scale, right? It goes on and on. Those are all things that if you are interested in, we can get you signed up to the virtual wholesaling course, or that includes either just the course, or if you're looking for the course and the one-on-one, I can walk you through as well. So if you want more into that, definitely set up a call with me and we can discuss. So the buyer we find, do they get the inspection or do we get the buyer? So the buyer we find, do they get the inspection or do we get the buyer? I'm not sure I understand your question. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand your question. So if you can ask it again, so just, I mean, you're the one that's going to go out and look for the buyer, right? And the buyer is going to get the inspection. So hopefully that answers your question. If not, rewrite it and I'll make sure I answer it. How would I wholesale? Oh, okay. So Solomon, you just got Solomon just got the virtual wholesaling course. So shout out, let's give him a round of applause. So you watch that course and it's going to walk you step by step by step on how to virtually wholesale. That's literally, it's called the Virtual Wholesaling Tribe course, okay? So it's gonna walk you step by step on how to virtually wholesale. And now keep in mind, guys, virtual wholesaling is not just about wholesaling out of state, right? You can virtually wholesale literally right in your neighborhood. It's about doing it all from home, doing it remotely, being able to be in the comfort of your home and get business rolling, okay? So that is what virtual wholesaling is about. So shout out to you for getting the course, and go ahead and watch it and you'll get all the answers you need. Is the cost for the title included in the EMD? No. So those are two separate things, okay? You have the cost for you have the cost for the title search and then your earnest money deposit. Those are two separate things. Great question. Great question. How are you handling situations when sellers want to have their attorney review the contract before they sign, which can delay the process? Absolutely. Good question. Good question. So what we'll do is we will actually send this agreement to them blank. We'll send them the blank agreement. If they want to have an attorney review it, we'll send it to them blank and just tell them, have your attorney review it. Once you're ready, let us know if there's any terms in there that your attorney suggests we change. We can make those edits and then we can send you the finalized copy. And the reason we do that again is because a lot of sellers, they use this, potentially as a way to go out and shop your contract. Not a whole lot, right? But that is a possibility. And they'll go out there and they'll show another investor who may have called them, and then they're like, look, Jasmine says she's gonna give me 50. Like, if you give me 55, we'll go with you, right? So that's one thing. And then the second thing is they'll go, now this is the most common thing, is that they'll go and they'll talk to their uncle, their cousin, their sister, brother, mother, and then they get all these opinions and then they decide that they don't want to sell to you because somebody else's opinion, right? So we don't give that numbers to them for them to go around walking around with. We just will give them the blank contract. They can review all of the terms, and then we can send them a finalized one that actually has the finalized numbers in it afterwards. All right. So the end buyer is normally paying all the closing costs. The end buyer is always paying all the closing costs. Yes. So there's no reason for any money to come out of your pocket in this transaction, right? So you're going to be getting your earnest money deposit back, and I'll show you, if you're interested in learning more about that, we can go into that. But the earnest money, the $10 or $100 earnest money deposit that you end up putting down, you will get that back. So there's no money coming out of your pocket at the end of this transaction at all. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm back. I don't know what happened. Hold on. Okay. I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. My camera died. You see, it's always trying to happen. So anyhow, so you can see me. That's all that matters. Yes, so the end buyer. Perfect. What digital app service do you recommend us to use to send the document? DocuSign. So we use DocuSign in order to send the agreement. Okay. Good tactic to avert shop around. Exactly. Exactly. I know, right? Good. I'm glad to see me. And he's like, this happens on the Zoom call. I know these gremlins, the internet's like sometimes technology works well, and it's like, yes, that's what I wanted. That's the vibe. That's the right. And then sometimes it's like, look, but what you gonna do, right? I'm grateful for the technology that we have. Okay. So yeah, that's all. That is all. So guys, you let me know if there's anything else that I can help you with, right? So so again, if you guys are interested in learning more, right, you want to learn this thing fully. You want to not only learn about getting the deal, but you want to learn about marketing the deal, right? You want to learn about finding buyers and how to do all of this virtually, how to show properties, how to get these inspections done, how to make sure that you are tapping into the best buyers and not wasting so much time with these unqualified buyers, right? Anything like that, or you know, the actual closing process, what that looks like, and even scaling, right? Hiring that virtual assistant. I know some of you guys can't wait to get past this first 30-day challenge, and then you're like, look, after this, I'm trying to hire that VA. Okay. Let me know. I mean, I can definitely help you walk through that process through our virtual wholesaling course, through the one-on-one. And I actually just partnered with the virtual assistant company now, so I will be offering that service as well to help you hire and onboard your virtual assistants. So that's all, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if you have any other questions. And other than that, wake up tomorrow in the AM and make those calls. 100 calls. You can do it. We can see it's done. We had Keon in here. Keon did it. 104. He went, he said, let me just make a few more calls real quick. Okay, on lunch break. Okay, so you can do it. You can do it. So that's pretty much it, guys. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.